Welcome to part 2 of our Star Wars The Mandalorian Season 2 review. Now, if you haven't seen the first part, I would highly recommend going and checking that out first. It's kind of a generalistic overview on our thoughts of the series overall. This part, we're going to be going more in depth into each of the episodes. So we're thinking of potentially doing a Star Wars show roundup after Kenobi drops. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you're subscribed and leave like a comment saying that you do or don't want us to do that. It may or may not change what we do. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy our discussion about The Mandalorian Season 2. Kevin, you sending a text message?
What, you get all nervous? You get nervous here? You don't have Kevin on your side?
Well, my phone's out and I have notes, and then I get a text, I reply.
Get off Kevin's back.
I'm not saying anything.
You're just afraid that Kevin's gonna agree with us.
Get off his back.
Kevin actually agrees with you. He likes the Clone Wars.
That's what I'm saying.
I do like the Clone Wars, but...
That's what I'm saying.
I got no pee in me right now.
It seems like you're getting exhausted. I think I'm winning this fight so far.
No, I'm not exhausted.
Right?
I'm just kidding.
So I was just telling Kevin. So everything we've complained about so far has been stuff that's in season 1. Episode 3,
largely.
We're reviewing season 2.
Episode 3. Well, no, I'm saying like we've expanded upon it, but it's all criticisms that we've already made. Episode 3 is where it introduces new criticisms for me, because that's when they introduce Bo-Katan and the other Mandalorians. So going into episode 3.
Fun fact, Bo-Katan and the other Mandalorians are terrible in the Clone Wars show as well.
They are just awful characters in general,
Yes.
I would say. Mandalore as like a concept, it's way cooler, in my opinion, if it is just a dead thing. Like the whole like, I want to be the ruler of Mandalore. I could not give less
We also don't even know what Mandalore looks like.
of a shit about any of
We
that.
don't know what it looks like.
But that's the thing, is the show has not given me a reason to care about.
Didn't they show us in the clone? Did they show us in any of the animated shows?
But here's the thing, that doesn't matter for...
It matters.
It matters for people that are big fans that are going to go back and watch that.
But it's all connected.
It's all connected.
It's all connected, but we're talking about this show.
The people watching Mandalorian, they have not all seen the Clone Wars.
But they're going to. That's what's awesome about The Mandalorian. Is that it's going to intrigue them to go back and watch it. They're going to be like, oh, this Thrawn character is already introduced. Ahsoka's already been introduced. They're going to be like, no, there's complex stories in those shows. Whether it has to do with environment.
Complex stories.
Whether it has to do with the environment, animals, just government, slavery, whatever. It's all in there. You're wrong.
I'm not wrong. I don't like anything in that show.
Outside of anything I think about Mandalore and the Mandalorians in general, episode 3 opens up on a very bad foot because the Mandalorian gets saved from 2 circumstances. The first one is he gets tricked very easily by those people on the boat.
The minute it starts, I'm just like, Lemius, they're gonna trick him, but he's gonna be smart enough to know this
he
time.
does get tricked
And then
immediately.
he literally does something that
one.
should kill him. Like he jumps into that.
If you get tricked as the main character, the audience should get tricked too. But when I'm watching that episode, I go, Mando, please, you gotta know this is a trap.
That is a trap, obviously.
And then he gets saved. And then literally...
That has happened several times in
30
season 2.
seconds later, he gets saved by the Mandalorians, and Bo-Katan is like, Mando, I just took my helmet off. And Mandalorian was like, that's not the way.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. He walks away, and then a fish man is like, you killed my brother. And the Mandalorian is like, it wasn't even me. He doesn't even get the opportunity to get tricked by them or lose the fight.
The squid people, right? They got squid faces.
He's just automatically rescued again by Bo-Katan.
Oh, you mean the Mon Calamari?
No,
That's not what they are, though. No.
They got the shiny thing with the...
They had tentacles.
faces?
They had tentacles.
That's not Mon.
Yeah.
Mon Calamari, the fishy-looking things.
Yeah,
the
you're thinking
goldfish-looking guy.
He's got a little bit of tentacles going.
These are like fish faces, or like squid faces.
Yeah,
like
no, Kevin,
bodies.
it's the difference between fucking
fish racist.
Kit Fisto and Admiral Akbar. You're thinking of 2 different races.
Exactly.
That's
if I could just point out one brilliant...
I'm a better Star Wars fan than Kevin. That means everything he said positive about the show is wrong.
Did anybody else pick up on the foreshadowing, though, in this episode? When they go to the bar at the beginning, and Grogu gets that little soup, and then a little squid guy pops up in the soup?
The squid guys are from Mon Calamari.
They're not Mon Calamari, though. They're on the same planet.
I don't know about that, dude. I think everybody from
Oh, okay,
Mon
so
Calamari is
are
Mon
we not
Calamari.
humans here on Earth? Are we
Just
not?
the same-
Are bears human?
Just
Fuck.
the same way that...
Wait, hold on. No, I want to follow Kevin down this path.
They're from Mon Calamari.
You're
They
gonna
didn't
try
go
to say
after that because
that is
they
like
look
an
like
alien
people.
saying, "Oh, this bear and this human look exactly the same. They're from the same
Earthlings?
planet. They're Earthlings, but the Mon Calamari are."
Where's the blaster?
That's not how everybody from Star Wars on their planet is the exact same thing as everything else.
What are they called? What are they called on Wikipedia? What are they called? They're called the Quarant. Oh! What are the Mon Calamari called?
They're also called Mon Calamari.
Oh!
I'm confused here.
I'm on Kevin's side because that is how all of Star Wars is. It's like all the people on Han Solo's planet wear the same pants and they're all smugglers. That's how every single planet is. So it's like all the Mon Calamaris, they look like fish and they're the same people.
Just like the people from Alderaan. They're all dead.
Dude, that was a good one.
You got him.
That was a good one. But also that's not true because all the people from Naboo are not all Gungans. There's Gungans and there's Nabooians.
That's the other side. You're on the other side of Planet Core.
I'm just saying.
That's the only time in all of Star Wars that's happened.
I know Star Wars better than anyone in this room.
So what's the Asian gal who's friends with Boba Fett? What's her name? Yeah, that's right.
What's her name?
Fennec Shan.
Oh my god, you actually know that?
Duh, that's the easiest question ever.
You know
Easiest
that?
question
Obviously,
ever.
Fennec Shan.
One.
It's the only other. It's the sidekick. It's like not knowing Robin.
Don't even ask me what actress plays her.
What actress plays her?
Ming Na Wei.
Why do you know all this?
She does
She's
some
the voice
pretty
of
good work,
Mulan
though.
in the original Mulan. That's how
in
I
the
know.
original Mulan, which is pretty cool.
Which is like, oh, she
just
like
to know
really
that
does
when
like
you're
live
watching it,
action
it actually adds a little bit of something cool.
It doesn't, but that is cool.
I thought the episode was cool. Again, the one thing that I saw in my notes was just that the music again I thought sucked. Bo-Katan I thought was badass. I thought that was super cool.
Why isn't she older? You cannot give X-Men shit for that, and not give the Mandalorian shit for that.
That's true, especially since X-Men's a better franchise.
Sam's like, I love X-Men. I don't know if I have the heart to say it is a better franchise.
It is easily
Let's
better.
do the math. How many good X-Men movies are there?
Like 100.
You cannot ask him. That's like asking Cody how many good Star Wars movies there are.
All of them. I'm not going to do any jokes. Like
No jokes.
No jokes.
No jokes.
X-Men
For me
1.
too. X-Men 1. X-Men 2. X-Men 3.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
The Wolverine. The Wolverine.
X-Men First Class.
First Class. Days of Future Past. X-Men Apocalypse.
So wait, Kevin.
And the new one.
Are there more than 3 good X-Men movies?
Oh, yes, 3.
I would say there's more than 3.
So it's a better franchise than Star Wars
Boom.
because there are only 3 good Star
And a
Wars
badass
movies.
TV show.
That we have Days of Future Past.
Yeah,
that's
no,
a good
he is
movie.
saying better, infinitely better. And I'm like,
hold on.
No.
I have no attachment to either franchise. I'm going to say the movies that
I do
think
have
are
an
good.
attachment.
Days of
You
Future
have no
Past.
bias at all?
No bias.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm completely unbiased. I'm neutral. Days of Future Past, good movie. X-Men 1, good movie. X-Men 2, even better movie. Logan.
Logan, great.
Logan. Is there a 5th?
X-Men 3 is actually badass.
Is Logan an X-Men movie?
No.
Yes, Logan is an X-Men. It's an X-Men character.
Yeah, it is
but that doesn't-
X-Men.
but-
It's
but
one
Like
X-Men-
asking
X-Men
if is the Mandalorian a Star Wars
That's
show?
that's like calling Spider-Man an Avenger movie just because he's an Avenger.
No, it's calling it a Marvel movie.
it's an MCU movie.
I would call it a Marvel movie.
We call
We're
it-
talking about franchises. We're not talking about like.
Logan is for sure an X-Men.
Yeah,
so
Logan-
is Deadpool.
But that's a Marvel movie technically.
Okay, the
MCU.
X-Men universe, the MCU
Yes,
universe.
I would say 5.
Let's just all agree that X-Men's better. Let's just all agree that X-Men's
Star Wars.
better.
Star Wars.
Oh, dude.
Star Wars. Same
This is
principles.
badass.
Same principles. A New Hope. Here's what I'll say. Star Wars has higher highs. A New Hope is a perfect movie. X-Men does not have a perfect movie.
X-Men 2. X-Men 3.
Empire Strikes Back, arguably even better.
No one
Yes.
considers any 1 or 2 of the X-Men movies to be the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah.
X-Men 2, I consider it the greatest
Yeah,
movie of all time.
you do. I said people. You are not people.
You asked if I'd be. I was completely objective, motherfucker. Fuck you.
So anyway,
I don't know.
episode 3, the Heiress. My big thing with this episode, something we have not touched on yet. You're bringing in these other characters, and it's fine that you're bringing these other characters because they have enough of an explanation as to why they're here. Like, it's fine. They are in stark contrast with Mandalorian from a viewpoint. Like, no, we're not religious, you fuck. We are just Mandalorian. And he's like, you're not, because he is just a faction. This would be a good episode to be like, hey,
Conflict.
conflict. They're like,
There's
hey, you're
conflict.
wrong, Mandalorian. And maybe by the end, he's like, you know what?
Instead, Mandalorian
maybe
just-
we agree to disagree. We put our stuff down. He learned something along the way. Something has come away from it for the main character for Mando.
So maybe have his beliefs hinder the objective in some way, like they.
And in order to get
and
the
in
objective,
the
he
only
has
good
to
episode
change
that does happen.
his thing and go be
tactfully
like them.
actually show that like, oh, because he believes this and because he does this, it's hurting him,
And so-
and it hurting the people around him.
It is though.
No, not in that episode.
Isn't that the episode where he just walks
builds
out and
up
gets
and-
hit by 8 million bullets?
Yeah,
or
no, that
whatever?
it has one of my favorite moments in the entire show.
At the end, all that happens is, all right, here's your information, here's my information. You know what? You're okay, Bo-Katan. Like the writers were like, well, we want that. It's just so much work to write that. Can you just
related to that,
have that ending and not do
just
it?
shoot people. He gets lied to, and he's like, this wasn't the term. I didn't agree to take this entire ship. I just agreed to get this shit out of here.
Right.
And she basically says, I lied. And he's like, this isn't the way. And she's like, it is the way.
If you want my help finding the Jedi, you will help me take this ship.
You're changing the terms of the deal.
This is the way.
Literally 2 scenes later, he says this is the way with her, and almost nothing happened in between that. All that happened was they took the ship. So it's like the mission was successful.
I guess it worked. And I'm done complaining
it's like,
about it.
You know what? It's a trope in cop movies where it's like, oh, as long as it works, it doesn't matter how horrible you treat people. Like that's how
I
cop
can
movies
disagree
work.
with you, but if you're right in the end, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. And that is how the Mandalorian treats the other Mandalorians in that episode. It's like, oh, we ended up winning, so I'm fine with your bad practices.
This episode of the 3 episodes has the most like, okay, you need this for the plot because he needs them later to pay off, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, okay, so this is more plot stuff. This is kind of the trick. This is where I start to notice something was off. Was because it was a plot episode. It felt like a filler episode. And I was like, so now you have done filler episodes so often, and the structure is the same.
Yeah.
Now
Can't tell.
that now plot episodes feel like filler episodes.
Yeah.
It feels convenient that things happen. There should be a drive, there should be a direction. This repeats for a lot of the ones, but I'm not going to bring it up for the other ones. But I feel like that started to be the case for even the more plot relevant episodes, which they did learn their lesson a little from season 1. Like there are more plot focused episodes. Like things will happen and then they're like, oh shoot, we have to resolve that in the next episode. We have to go and do that.
The Mandalorians had this problem literally since like the first episode of The Mandalorian. They're putting them in situations where you as the audience are like, the Mandalorian would just shoot them. Like the spiders.
Not only would, he should shoot them.
Yeah, or Bill Burr, where it's like, why aren't just shoot?
shoot Bill Burr.
He should have shot one of them. The second they started fucking with Baby Yoda, he should have shot one of them.
He should have shown him, do not mess with me. And
Or
do not
shot
mess
one
with
of them
baby
in the
folk,
knee and he's
baby.
like, I told you not to touch that. Like,
Yes.
Like you know what I mean? Like
I would also not
that
even be
first
satisfied with
episode-
that. He needs to kill somebody. Like
See,
he needs to
that
prove
season
he's
they
a-
didn't know what they wanted to do with
They
it.
don't know
agree.
now
They still
either.
Hold the phone. You still don't have. You don't know dick about shit.
You don't know dick about shit. You don't
I think as the
from
show's gonna
something,
keep
isn't
going, dude. You gotta watch.
We've
You
been
gotta
2
watch the
seasons
Book
in,
of
and
Boba.
the main character
You
is
gotta
still
watch the
bad.
Book of Boba.
The main character is still bad.
You know what makes season
first
2 of The
5 minutes of
Mandalorian better is episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett, a show that came out a year later.
See, it doesn't. The way they're doing. I don't know.
okay,
Yeah,
so,
it does make it better. Explain how it makes season 2 of The Mandalorian better.
It does make season 2 of The Mandalorian
Just
better.
explain it.
What about for me when I was watching it before knowing that Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett, episode 5 came out?
Episode 4, The Siege. So fun fact, I love
is
this
a-
episode.
You love this episode?
Well, it is a filler episode, but at least here's the thing. This feels different because the Mandalorian has people to bounce off of.
Yeah.
In the episode, it's super simple. It's like, you know what? Let's just do a heist. And there's lava, so it's like it feels different. It looks different. You're like, okay,
It's bringing back characters from
and there's
the
just
first
an
season.
imperial thing that's left over from the old days, and they just have to do a heist, and you're like, that's kind of cool. They just got to do a fucking heist, and then they're gonna do the lava thing. And they're
You
gonna
learn
kill
a little bit about Baby Yoda.
it actually pushes the plot forward. There's discovery to happen, and Carl Weathers directs it, and it is just Mando, look at me, I'm great.
That's actually the best part about that episode is that it's Carl Weathers directed it, and Carl Weathers is the star of the show in that episode.
And to me, like,
That's hilarious.
And corny as it is, like, that's part of just how I'm just like, you get some imperial bodies and some lava. Mando, you got yourself a stupid.
That episode had one of the stupidest moments I thought at the end with Rebellion guy. He's
And
like,
he comes up to Cara Dune.
she's like, he's like, so, did you lose anybody on Alderaan?
I lost everybody.
It's
on
like,
Alderaan.
the whole planet got
What kind
blown
of
up,
question
asshole.
is that?
There's a lot of stupid questions in this show. Mandalorian especially
Are you
has-
sad about your entire planet being blown up?
I wrote down every time I
Not
saw
as sad as I am,
Mandalorian with a stupid question, like in the first episode with the worm pops up out of the ground and he goes, there it is.
There it is.
It's like everyone sees it. It's a million miles long.
A lot of the Mandalorian action scenes, especially with the Imperials, follow a very similar path, and this happens a lot in episode 3, which I know we're supposed to be done talking about, but I'm gonna break some rules. The Imperials will run down a hallway. It's not just Imperials, but this is a lot of
bad
action
guys.
scenes. Bad guys run down a hallway, and then the main characters are also in that hallway, and they just shoot at each other, and the bad guys are usually in some sort of line, and they just run to
And
be
they take
shot
cover,
at.
and then they shoot.
They cover.
What it should be is they run around the corner. The Mandalorian does not take cover because he's invincible, and
Well, he
just
does
walks
that.
down into them and
He
shoots
does
them.
that in episode 3. It's the funniest moment in the whole season.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, wait, I'm invincible, and he literally like runs into the middle of this hallway, and they're just shooting at him, and he throws a grenade or something. And I
Oh,
was
he's
just-
getting blasted. And
He's getting blasted.
Dude, I love that shot. He's just like,
Yeah,
he's
it's
getting
such a-
fucking pounded.
Yeah, and
But it's like funny because nothing bad happens to him though. That's it.
It looks painful as fuck, and he could have just been
Does
inches
it?
away.
It doesn't look
Dude,
painful
if he
at
didn't
all.
have the Force on his side, he would have got. He could have got hit anywhere.
But they literally
he needs
he
the
doesn't
Force
have, he doesn't have
too.
any armor here.
Yeah, didn't get
and
hit there.
here, and not one
Isn't it
person.
incredible?
tries to
I'm going
shoot
for
him.
the head.
That's what I
Go
mean.
for
It's
the head and
incredible.
chest every
it's
time.
incredible. It's incredible that
Is it incredible or lazy?
Is it,
I think
is
it's-
it
I think-
incredible
I think it's a
that
little
all the
bit of
Game of
luck.
Thrones characters in the
It's a
last
little bit
season
of luck.
survive
I don't
everything
think
magically?
that's good that it's a little bit of luck or the Force.
I
I
think
think it is.
Luck is always a
annoying that he's
lazy
invincible.
way. Yeah, luck
In
is
Obi-Wan's
always.
experience, there is no such thing as luck.
So episode 4.
Might be my favorite episode of the season, like overall.
Interesting.
Overall.
You thought you had a brave tweet.
Yeah, I
you
thought
have a very normal.
I have
tweet.
a very normal tweet that I thought was a
Well,
great
this
tweet.
is one of the lower rated ones on IMDb. It has like a 9.3.
Dude, I literally for
So
I don't rate. It's
funny every time.
In my notes, I didn't rate any of the episodes except for this one, and it was a bad fucking rating.
Really, you don't like this one?
Listen,
compared to
Kevin,
the
I'm
rest
gonna
of
I'm
them?
gonna say you're allowed. The Carl Weathers episode is. I wouldn't say it's a like.
I don't like the Carl Weathers episode.
that's the thing. It just
Also,
doesn't. It just doesn't. See that
It's
all the
true.
other ones, they might have better single things in it, but they always have something else that bothers me.
Mandalorian
more.
does get tricky
This
here.
one does not. Like this one bothers me the least. It has the least things where I'm
You
like,
could stay
no,
in
that
it.
sucks.
Episode 5,
The Jedi,
the Ahsoka Tano episode.
the Dave Filoni directed episode.
I will
Here
agree
is
with
where
Sam
we
Slade.
end.
This
And-
is my one of
write
my
it?
least favorite episodes of the
Fun
He
season.
wrote it too.
This he did.
yeah.
He wrote and directed it.
He wrote
yes.
and directed it.
This is where we lose subscribers because I think Ahsoka Tano is a terrible character, and I think this is a terrible episode.
Wrong.
You lost Cody.
So here's the thing.
No,
Cody.
he didn't lose.
Why
me.
do you
Just-
like Ahsoka?
He's
Tano?
not losing anybody.
Why do
We-
you
we-
like?
we
That's a
don't
good.
have
Wait,
to
wait, wait! I want to
explain
hear
to you.
Cody's answer.
I can explain why I don't like her.
why do
I
you-
can explain why I think she's kind of neat. I mean, any individual that's around another individual like Anakin,
Yeah.
and takes in any sort of anything from that person, they're going to be interesting people moving forward because she doesn't want to really conform to the rules that she's been taught, so she's trying to find her own way. I'm going to say the Mandalorian again is just a generous seed for a lot of other things to come. I don't feel
To do
this
a
is
side-
one introduction where it does feel forced.
That is the big point that I don't like this episode, where it's very clear in this season, and especially in this episode, they're just like, we're going to use
Setting
Mandalorian
up
season
other
2 to
things.
set up everything else
But
we
I
want to do.
think-
That Thrawn line is one of the most because I like the concept. I've watched those YouTube videos that explain why people like Thrawn. I like the concept of Thrawn. If you know what
I've seen
this-
pictures of Thrawn.
If you know the stories that he's involved in Legends, he's part of some of the best.
Yeah, I'm
things
not going to
that-
have any opinion on Thrawn because I don't have any basis. I
he's
just know people like him. I don't care.
he's part of the
but
best
it's the
things
way
that
he's
Legends
brought
has
up
done.
in this episode.
Yeah.
Where it's where's Thrawn, and I'm just like, he's in space, man. I don't. This is not satisfying for me as someone who doesn't know who Thrawn is.
She's producing and creating products or material for them.
It was inserted in there so that fans could be like, Thrawn?
No,
he's
she is
still around?
She's a character that's creating resources for the bad guys. And why is she still in business? Because Thrawn is out there.
Are you talking about this chick? I don't care.
But yeah, that's the thing, Cody. Is as someone who doesn't know who Thrawn is, that moment has no impact for me.
And it shouldn't. And why should it?
I know,
but-
I know who Thrawn is, and that moment still felt. It reminded me a lot of the Darth Maul scene at the end of Solo, because it's just like, why is this happening at this
Stop
moment?
bringing
in time?
this up right now. This is about the Mandalorian and
Sure.
Baby Yoda. Stop bringing this up.
Sure, I get what you're saying though, but I still don't care because I thought it could have been worse.
So here's
That's
the thing.
not a good-
Here's the thing that's weird.
I thought it was awesome. Like
Here's the thing
it only could have been worse. I thought it was awesome.
Here's the thing that's weird about this episode for me, with Ahsoka Tano especially. She's very well defined, even though I don't like her as a character. She's very well defined in the Clone Wars show.
Yeah.
That she has 1,000 episodes she's in, whatever. Like, she's one of the main characters of that show. She comes into the show, and Dave Filoni himself was like, I don't know how to write this character in this show. And I'm like, how do you not... Like, he literally... Like, and when you watch it, it's very clear, she's not even the same character anymore. Like,
she's a little bit older.
She's not acting...
She's much older, actually.
But, like, either way, she doesn't... to me, I'm like, this could be just someone else. It's not really Ahsoka Tano to me. I don't like Ahsoka Tano because she's a Mary Sue, and I think the show writes around a bunch of flaws she would have, even though it's not played as flaws. It's the same thing with The Mandalorian. There's a big problem with the ending of the Clone Wars for me, where she literally gets everyone killed, and the show is like, no, she didn't. She did everything fine. And I was like, no, she didn't. She got everybody killed and shouldn't have survived that, even though but the show was like, no, she's gonna show up for Mandalorian and whatnot. She has to survive or whatever. And it's like,
sounds like she's got a compelling
she has a huge
But
Mary
it's
Sue.
not treated as a flaw.
It's not treated as a flaw. It's treated as, this is my baby.
as a viewer,
I'm Dave Filoni. This is my baby, and I'm going to make sure everything she does is perfect.
I think you're giving him too much. I think he does give you enough to put whatever you want to it, because you could go in with what you're thinking, and that's really cool. I think.
Here's the thing. I'm saying I have all this backstory knowing her as a character.
Like,
in
I think
Clone
that's
Wars.
incredible. Like,
I don't
knowing
see that same character in this show. I just see her as, a bunch of fans can now see her as that character. She looks like that character.
She's not treated as a character in the episode. She's treated as a cameo for fuel for future things.
Yes.
She's not put in
and
that
for
episode.
fans that like her in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that character could have been anybody in that episode. Like, it didn't need to be Ahsoka Tano. It could have been, like, they could have made up a new Jedi.
It's like, why did Dave Filoni write and direct this episode with this character that it is his biggest contribution to Star Wars?
Because he's going to have a whole show.
Because that's his baby. Yeah, exactly. But it's
So why introduce her in this one?
Why
The fans
introduce her
are
in
already
this?
a fan.
Also, she's not Ahsoka Tano, really. She's just some Jedi.
when it doesn't matter, like, I
She's
would
not a
say
Jedi.
It's a commercial.
I think it's, but it works though. It works. Like, why not? If he's gonna run into a random person.
Well, here's the thing: if you have
works, though.
integrity to your characters, you know how they are. It shouldn't just be this character's in
And
there. It
it's-
doesn't matter that it's this character.
I like Ahsoka Tano as a character. I don't like how she is handled in the Clone Wars because it takes 5,000 goddamn years for her to be likable.
That's true.
She does get likable, in my opinion. I think once she actually gets likable, she is one of the best characters from the show. It does take a long time. I would say it takes
Maybe
too
in
long.
in the whole series of Star Wars.
It takes too long, but in the grand scheme of things, when they said Ahsoka might be in season 2, I was like, you know what? If they use her right, it could be fine. There's a few things they could have done to keep it Ahsoka, like keep it the character and keep it faithful and keep it interesting, that they did not do. One, I think the first thing they could have done is they could have had her not just be in an episode and have her be the Jedi that trains Grogu. Make that a plot development. Don't bring in other big character that you'll have to CGI his face every time you see him character.
Yeah.
Have a real person do it and just have, instead of just, we came all this way, can you please help us? Nah.
No, but I'm gonna be in my own
But if you
show.
help me out, I'll let
Do
you
you guys
know
know
where
who
to go.
Thrawn is? He's gonna be in my show. Thrawn's gonna be in my show, bitches. Better watch it, Disney Plus.
It was definitely an Ahsoka special.
Subscribe.
This is a Mandalorian Ahsoka special.
But here's the thing. But if they didn't want to do it, let's say, okay, we need it to be Luke Skywalker for whatever reason. We don't want it to be her. The whole episode should be about that. If she's just going to be here for one episode, that should be the point of the episode. There should be a point where she senses it and she's just she's like, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. Like there's a personal reason instead of just, yeah, I thought about it, I'm not going to do it. No, she says, yes,
there.
I will do it. And then later, I have changed my mind.
So-
it's like, what made you change your mind? You know what I mean? Like there's no moment for her where she's just like, maybe she's like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. She touches her and she has like a force vision. And she's like,
She is
I'm the wrong
poorly
person.
written.
I shouldn't do this.
She's not acting like
And
a
so it's like, that
character.
would have made it, her past history maybe, or the fact that she saw something in the Force that made her not want to
Or
do
maybe
it.
she did something that reminded her of Anakin.
Or
Yeah,
something.
exactly. It needs to be something like that where it's like, oh, this is the relevance to this character, instead of it being, we can't do anything else with this character because this is the episode for this character and that's it.
Do you think we'll see this scene again? And do you think we'll see this scene again with another character in it that the main character in The Mandalorian couldn't see? Somebody communicating to Ahsoka, hey, this is Grogu. I was the person who trained him.
You like
Force
think
Ghost.
The Force Ghost?
I'm saying
Force Ghost,
because she
something.
does not
There could have been a
contribute-
conversation going on that we didn't see.
That's not happening.
That is
is not
horrible.
happening.
Cody,
No.
don't even say
I'm
shit
just
like
throwing
that.
that. Who knows?
Sorry.
No.
There's
Hey,
no
like,
way.
all we know, they're connecting they're connecting all of these shows with different like Boba.
The thing is, when you make a show, and we touched on this a little bit in our season 1 review, when you make a show, you should never feel like an episode by itself is wasted, right? When you watch Stranger Things season 2, and you see that episode where Eleven just hangs out with those random people for an episode and not the characters that you actually like. And then when she comes back and you're like, if you just remove that episode, the show would be the same. And you're like, you should never feel like that. You should always feel like every episode is in service,
especially
of the bigger goal.
That's just not how the shows work anymore.
It is though.
That's how good shows work.
When I watch Midnight Mass or The Haunting of Hill House, every episode is building towards, all right, we're finding something out. We're getting to know this character better. We're doing this, we're doing that, and then in the plot, this moves forward.
If you cut the Ahsoka Tano episode out and just had the Mandalorian know where to go the next point.
They're just like, I can't tell you where to find a Jedi, but I can tell you where to find this place where you can call a Jedi.
Dude, there's super cool stuff though that they're still inserted into that. Like the whole spear itself is cool, and
so I have a whole a physical aspect of this entire episode that is annoying to me because the Mandalorian is already invincible.
Yes.
He's so invincible, and then he starts.
True.
He is.
That
But in the show, he is.
He is.
So that spear.
So here's the thing. Beyond that, I'm not even going to talk about the spear exactly yet. He's invincible, and then he's like, "I'll go fight Ahsoka Tano, whatever." He shows up, and you know he's not going to fight her really
because he wants.
And immediately they establish that a lightsaber can't even cut through him.
That is in lore, dude.
No, I checked with other nerds. They said that isn't how it works.
No,
Kevin can back me up. It deflects lightsabers. He shouldn't be able to go boom, block it. It should be he can knock it out of the way a little bit, like be like resistant to it, but not. I can block it with my arms, no problem.
You could eventually.
Like eventually a Jedi will get you. You are just able to fight it a little bit better.
Yeah,
is how it's established. Apparently,
it should leave a burn mark.
Yeah, it shouldn't just be. Oh, I can.
So you're saying his armor should get dirty?
His armor should
get a couple little black marks.
He should have some dents in it, like because the lightsaber melted part of it or something.
Yeah,
like have it be that he can't just.
And that would be cool too. That would be cool if there was just
that little tiny 2-second fight is so annoying to me because he shows up. And immediately, like, okay, he's also lightsaber proof. Mandalorian, you're so stupid. Like, you came into that situation knowing you weren't going to fight Ahsoka Tano. You need her help. And he throws a flamethrower at her. He's like, and he's like trying to kill her. And then he talks to her. And I'm like, why did you even do that? Why didn't you start talking first? Him. Yeah, I know. Block. Yeah. Ahsoka, stop trying to kill me. I'm just here to help you.
You're in reflex
mode. Also, he's invincible. His armor can deflect lightsaber.
Instead, he blocks, tries to set her on fire, ties her up with a rope, tries to throw her onto a tree so she gets strangled to death.
It's so good. It's so fucking cool.
So it's like, sure, that's cool, but it's like, why is the Mandalorian doing this? He wants her on he's literally trying to kill her.
He was just like, I had to make sure you were a Jedi.
And then the moment he's on the ropes, he's like, Ahsoka, please, I'm on your side.
And that's what's kind of funny, though. It's kind of like that. Have you ever seen One Punch?
Here's the thing. Cody, I agree. I think it would be funny if they played around with that. If he did try to set her on fire,
he is like badass.
And then he tries to talk to her, and she's like, "You just tried to set me on fire." And he's like, "No, please, I'm sorry."
Well, sorry, it was reflex.
I on fire all the time. It was a reflex.
It was just a little fire.
But they don't call any attention to it.
You guys are just complaining about too much. Too many little details.
We're using them as examples.
You could go through every one of these episodes and go frame by frame and be like,
"That's what we're doing."
That's what we're doing at this point.
That's stupid. You could do that, but when you're in the experience of the Star Wars world,
that's how I am. That's how I was watching.
I'm experiencing it because I don't like it.
When I pick apart A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, I still like the movie at the end of the day because the movie's good.
When you first originally watched that Ahsoka episode, how did you feel?
Exactly how I'm talking about right now.
Well, I have my notes if we came around to me.
So, Kevin?
So I have ups. My ups is I liked Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I thought she played the role pretty good. She played a good aged Ahsoka.
I would agree with that.
I also like how Ahsoka Tano murders people. My favorite part of the episode is when there's just the guard guys and they just what the heck, that guy just died. There's a Jedi predator.
Finally someone's killing people.
A Jedi predator hunting people down, and I was like, that's awesome. Murder more people in this show, please. Because her killing people as a Jedi is just awesome. Because you don't see Jedi going around killing people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, it's cool that we get a chance to see this.
Dude. She's not Jedi.
Well, whatever.
Right.
Cody, she got the pew pews.
Well, you just can't go. I mean, she's clearly not. She won't train Gogu.
It's nice to see somebody with lightsabers that aren't red. I think it's funny how Mando easily beats Michael Biehn. He's just like, all right, Mando. Like Michael Biehn is fat.
Oh, I love that Michael.
And then immediately he just shoots him and he just beats him, and I'm like, that is great. They threw Michael Biehn in there just to kill him. And also, I generally liked the style of the episode itself because it felt different than anything else.
All the Filoni fans are out there.
It looked just like an Akira Kurosawa movie.
I wouldn't go that far, but I do like that it doesn't just feel like another Mandalorian episode. It feels like its own episode.
And I think that's what we're gonna get. I think this show is just giving us themes that we're gonna get later.
You have
don't think so?
Yes.
I think they're like, hey, this guy's gonna be directing Ahsoka shit. They're gonna give him an Ahsoka
Boba
episode.
Fett stuff, and you're like, I can't wait for Book of Boba Fett.
It is very similar to Robert Rodriguez's episode in season 2, where it's just like, that's not my favorite episode. They're giving us the worst before they give us the best. Hopefully.
Why would you assume that? Why would they start off with their worst?
He's a hopeful man.
Dude, Disney is gonna milk. They're gonna milk it. They know what they have. They know what they have.
That's why the sequel trilogy started off with the worst movie.
Hey, this is like Take Two.
Well, like Take Two. I kinda get that. I'm annoyed though to the point where they're like, it's such a Western samurai thing. This is so cool what they're doing. Like the whole episode is like.
Well, I don't like the people that love the episode for that reason.
It's contriving so much. I like the style, but like the contrivances where it's like, we're gonna make sure that we have this sweet tense moment, even though this doesn't make sense as a tense moment between the two of them, because the Mandalorian's just gonna destroy Michael Biehn. Michael Bihn's gonna get the Mandalorian. Yeah, okay, cool. It's not a good moment. You know, like but the show clearly thinks it is. The show's like,
I think that scene would have been cooler if Michael Biehn was just like, yeah, I'm not here to die. You're gonna beat me.
It'd be better if he legit surrendered in that scene where he was like, oh, looks like your side won.
It ain't that kind of show.
I'm here to live.
I wish it was.
I wish it
had character.
That would have been a better moment.
Instead of just, I hate you, Mandalorian, I'm gonna shoot you, everyone.
Because the Mandalorian, the show has already established that the Mandalorian is invincible, and I know that Michael Biehn shouldn't know that. But at the same time, you're just like, what? Why, Michael Biehn? You're not. Like,
I'm just gonna shoot you, Mandalorian. I was like, in the
I got a gun in my back pocket.
It's not an interesting moment because even if Michael Biehn is acting at peak human capability, shoots him right between the eyes, it's not gonna kill him. It's the Mandalorian. He's invincible.
It would have been great if he actually did succeed. He shot him in the neck a bit and he grazed him. I was like, oh shoot.
He was not that cool from the beginning though.
No. Which is
from his very first word. I was like,
it's fine that he lost, but they try to make a tense moment out of it.
It is not cool when your protagonist is always winning and will never lose.
And the only times he does is because he's stupid and he's tricked.
When you, dude, I don't know.
I'm fine with him winning every time. I just want it to seem like it.
I know, yeah. John Wick wins every time, but he almost loses every time. Like it's a simple formula.
The Mandalorian is like, if he didn't have that armor, he would have been shot 1,000 times already.
He'd be dead. I don't think there's a couple people in the world that's watching that's just like,
those people that are watching it will watch anything that's Star Wars and like it. All these criticisms are coming from us who are like, guys, it doesn't matter, it's Star Wars, it's bad.
Yes.
Like, last thing is, I absolutely hated with a burning passion the fact that she was just like, where's Thrawn?
Oh, it's one of the worst parts.
I didn't say anything when you guys
were
doing it. I was just like, but I do agree because I don't want to see a commercial for another show.
Yeah,
I just
that
if they had that at the end of the credits, maybe like the Boba Fett one doesn't offend me, or it's at
if
the
it was
end
more
of the credits.
vague, if it didn't name drop Thrawn, like if it was more like,
who I'm looking
where's
for.
your boss?
Where's your boss?
Yeah,
it still would have been cheesy and like an advertisement, but it's not. Where's name dropping a fan?
Where's the plot of my Ahsoka show? Like,
where's Rey Skywalker?
It's not just a character. It is one of the biggest fan favorite. Like it is name dropping.
After Darth Vader was killed, we had like 30 years of nothing but nerds writing their own stories, and Thrawn became just this powerhouse.
Oh yeah, of course.
Among things, I think it's cool.
So here's the thing.
Thrawn is cool. I'm not saying he's not cool, but
here's the thing. If you take that out, the integrity of the Mandalorian season 2 show is better because fans do not feel catered to. I wanted to be catered to. I wanted that. Like I was sitting there. I was like, Thrawn, come on, Thrawn, just come on. Yeah! It was like a winning suit. It was like we made the field goal. Imagine instead we hit the buzzer shot. Imagine if you just focused on the story of the Mandalorian, the actual
the show that I'm watching,
the show that you're actually watching.
We're hoping the show introduces more corners to the universe of Star Wars.
Because you've already met Ahsoka. There you go. Boom. That's all.
Or make that moment.
And then
stronger.
when they say we're making an Ahsoka show, and you're like, oh, okay, let's see what this is about. And then at the end of the episode, she's like, where's Thrawn? Then you're like, oh, this is what the show's going to be about. This is the show you're already in.
They could have made that moment stronger by just legitimately introducing Thrawn instead of it just being, where's Thrawn? If there was from the back of his head and it's like, blah, 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 he says something, it's like, who was that? I bet it was Thrawn. Like, have it something that, like, feels like an actual moment instead of just, where's Thrawn? you're gonna see it in the next season.
But this gives them the opportunity to do what you just said.
This has zero relevance in current season.
It would feel, if they're gonna shamelessly plug their next show, make it a good moment. And I'm saying it's not a good moment.
I guess. I guess.
Yeah, like make it relevant to the story that I'm watching and invested in right now.
Like, don't distract from what we're talking
again,
about.
the show is so much about him doing his one thing, but then all these people he's running into that have these incredibly big things going on.
I have one more Ahsoka point in this episode. It's something I have a problem with in all of Star Wars, is they establish power dynamics, and they're like, this character is the most badass character in all of time. They've done this crazy stuff. And then a scene happens, like with Ahsoka Tano, who...
Ahsoka Tano could go 1-to-1 with Darth Vader.
I'm being hypocritical here because I don't like referring to stuff that the audience would have not necessarily seen, but I saw Ahsoka Tano do crazy stuff in the Clone Wars. She's like extremely powerful in the Clone Wars. She goes up against butt-face nobody with this spear, and she's like, I'm losing to this person. I'm just like, she should cut her in half immediately.
It should have been just a quick
I don't think that was a butt-face nobody, though.
She was, though.
She has a spear made of fuck.
She has a spear.
She's the mayor of a gutter tank.
All I'm gonna say is you guys are assigning a lot of just like nothingness to a person.
No,
where did she get the spear?
No, Cody,
And
I'm taking what the show gives me. I'm taking what the show gives me.
You are, but you're not giving the show the opportunity to give you more yet.
You shouldn't have to look into it, though.
If a chef makes you a plate of food and it has really smelly fish on it, you would not be like, but the dessert could be great. I'm gonna eat this smelly fish and I'm gonna say I love it because the dessert could be great. And the chef comes out and he's like, "Don't worry, bro.
It could be taiyaki. Those are shaped like fish.
The dessert is more fish.
I don't believe in the dessert. I don't care about. I'm reviewing
because the chef is gonna bring out more fish because you lied to him and said you love the fish.
All I'm saying is it's not that big of a deal in the first place, but it could be something that becomes.
But here's the problem. I'm fine with you thinking, or anybody thinking, that this lady's a badass. She's got a cool spear. I think the spear is cool.
I understand what you're saying,
but Ahsoka
just so you guys
Tano
know.
established her as a badass. You are establishing her as a badass. You show this entire episode where she's killing people with no problem. She comes up to this lady and she almost loses.
Well, this
come on, it's Ahsoka Tano.
She's running a city, and again.
She's running a swamp city.
So you think the mayor of LA is winning any duels?
It's like
I totally get what you're saying, but again, my brain is seeing the spear and just being like, what is the history of that?
This is what my brain
God,
is.
I don't. She could have bought it at a thrift store. I don't give a fuck.
You don't
where
know.
she got a stick.
This is a Jedi that survived Order 66.
We're
she
talking
has
about
to
a
be,
lady with a stick, though.
and we're exactly. It's like,
We're talking about a lady with
this
stick we
lady's
don't
got
know
a
anything
stick.
about, though.
You guys aren't asking the big question. Where did that stick come from? How did this woman
Just saying.
get the stick? Did she
I'm
buy it at
just
a
saying.
thrift store? Did she buy it at an antique store?
She might have had to kill some
I guarantee
beefy
you, Cody,
motherfucker. This is a story, you guys.
even
This
like
is
the
a story where there is a little bit of purpose, and there's a little bit of meaning.
If it showed her killing someone with the stick in a badass way in the beginning, it's like, oh, I won this by battle, and like that was the
establishing thing, but she's like, I have it.
I have this stick.
I have it and I have not used it once.
Hey, all I know,
Because to
all
me,
I'm
I'm
just
like,
saying is
okay,
like,
she bought it
there's-
at a thrift store. Like, I don't. She saw it.
I
and-
did say this was a small point. It's become a much bigger point.
And also, Ahsoka's fighting a weapon she's never fought before.
It's a stick.
it's a stick.
Lightsabers are sticks.
It's a different style. It's a different style.
She's beating Darth Maul.
Darth Maul is not holding a lightsaber like she's holding the staff.
holding a stick.
It's a spear.
But
It's a spear. There's a difference between a spear and a sword, dude. And
Here's what's
everything
not the
that's going
difference
on.
is that she has the Force and this other lady doesn't.
You want
could
this to
pick
be
up-
more like the
she could
man? You
pick
want
her up
everybody to
and
be
drop her.
invincible? You're
Ahsoka,
complaining
why
about the
doesn't Ahsoka
Mandalorian.
pick her up and drop her.
You guys are complaining about the Mandalorian being perfect, but Ahsoka isn't perfect
No,
enough.
because she's.
No, I'm
it's a
complaining
power
about both.
dynamic thing.
Neither
No,
of them are
about the writer.
Yes.
Because it's like if John Wick came across an average, regular Joe assassin, like
It's
not
the mayor of
John Wick,
LA.
well, and then they just have to fight, and you're like, well, John Wick would obviously beat him because we know where John Wick has been. Who the fuck is this Joe Schmo?
I mean, she's from the very first. From the
In
very,
fact, they do that, and then John Wick wins easily.
Here's how it should have gone. Michael Biehn is like a vet. He's fought a Jedi before. Like, that's his claim to fame. He survived a fight. He maybe even killed one.
He's killed a Jedi.
He's
That's
killed a
his thing.
Jedi, and that's the setup in the beginning. And she has this badass bodyguard, like he's killed a Jedi before, and that's who
That's the
Ahsoka
thing,
Tano
right? And-
is going up against.
and maybe he has the best star spear.
he has a blaster at first, and then the mayor of LA throws her.
And maybe
him,
Ahsoka underestimates
throws him the stick.
She's like, oh, I can beat this guy easy, but then he whoops out the Beskar spear, and she's like, oh shoot, this is gonna be a harder fight than I thought.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like escalate the tension that way instead of
This is the mayor of Los Angeles, and he can just smack down.
She has a spear, which makes her just as good as Ahsoka Tano.
as someone who's extremely experienced trained Jedi,
Because Cody,
order
here's the
sequence
thing.
stuff.
This is something a lot of Star Wars fans do. Is something will happen in Star Wars, and I'm not blaming you of this, but I'm saying this is something that happens a lot.
Blaming.
Dave Filoni does this constantly.
He does this a lot.
Something
It makes
will
him a
happen.
terrible writer.
It's his
something
favorite
will-
thing.
Will happen in Star Wars, and Star Wars fans are like, oh. Well, then that must have a reason. Like they assume greater intelligence behind it, and so they invent their own. They backpedal.
George Lucas is one man.
And fill in the blanks for the creators.
He's like, they look like squid. They come from Mon Calamari. That's the thought. That's the entire thought.
And so the problem with that line of thinking is that if it's not in the show, it's not there. And for that girl with the stick, she it's not implied or ever even established has any skills outside of owning a stick and being the mayor
There's
of this
nothing.
town.
There's nothing established.
Exactly. You just laid out the biggest
There's
problem.
nothing.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
need to.
And they're
if
treating
she's
her
going
like-
to go toe to toe with Ahsoka,
With
they
an
need
experienced
to establish
character.
that.
Sure. I get what you're saying.
And have it be
I-
an even fight.
I
Either that
get-
or Ahsoka should win more easily.
I get
That's
what
all
you're
I
saying.
want. I wanted either establishment to prove why she should
It
be
wasn't-
toe to toe with Ahsoka, or Ahsoka wipes her ass.
It wasn't like anything awful enough. It wasn't anything awful enough.
Yeah, you
know why I
mix
said
that
that.
up a little bit. Ahsoka just wipes her ass.
Like it wasn't.
I'm
like,
going to use that.
Part three.